I do not like to be that late, everyone. My apologies, but I've been getting all of my technical stuff in a row and my links in order so that we can hopefully have a pretty smooth trip through some of these things that I want to look at, some of these stories. So, this is from the title page of the Glamour magazine article that people are talking about. So I guess we're going to start with that. We're also going to start with this, and we're not going to read the whole article, no worries, because I know a lot of you have already read it, and I'm just here basically to comment on a few things. But the writer of this article, as you may or may not know, the writer actually put out a statement, and someone sent it to me last night, and basically responding to her critics, not naming anyone by name in the statement, but responding, I think, to a number of us in general. And I thought some of it was actually really funny. Well, apparently she took it down. Now, I'm talking, if you're just joining, I'm talking about this recent Glamour article that I think got a lot of things wrong and that a number of us were criticizing. And so the author of this put out like a 3, 4, 5 minute statement online. Well, anyway, point is, I hear now she's taken it down, but thank God Zach Peter has it and he put it up. And so we're going to look at that in a minute as well. Let me pan out just a bit. You can actually see the article here. So yeah, so this is Glamour magazine. And by the way, I do want to apologize. I do want to apologize for calling some of you ridiculous. I'm not. I have actually intellectual reasons for why I persist in using the word retard, and we can talk about it at the end of the show. But I'm not going to have a meltdown or a rant or anything like that. But I understand your concerns for why you wanted that changed, and to a certain degree, when really I wasn't even really thinking about it. I was just like, oh, this will be something really that'll get a lot of attention. But then I'm like, I think the algorithm's probably going to hit me for a title like that, might give me limited monetization. So anyway, thank you for sharing your concerns on that point. We will talk more to the end about that. But I want to start here at the beginning with what we're going to be talking about most of the time, which is what's going on in the media right now and the completely expected attacks. I don't like to use the word attacks because that makes it sound like I think I'm whining. Some of us are whining, or we're being like, fragile snowflakes, right? Like, oh my God, she's saying bad things about me, or she's misrepresenting me. And that's not what anybody's doing. We're here to comment on this stuff. And so when we are misrepresented, or when there is an article in a mainstream publication written that seems to be in a number of ways off the mark about us, or its interpretation, the writer's interpretation of what we're doing, then we're going to comment on it. And so anyway, but the author of this put out a statement, then retracted it. And so it is on Zach Peters' page. So we'll look at that in a minute. And then I want to look at what I really want to get to is the Brian Freedman interview. Thank you to those of you who are sending me various interviews, but he's been doing a lot of PR, hasn't he? So good for Brian Freedman and good for Justin Baldoni. But I was talking about the one that was just done a few days ago, right? And was on Spotify. I don't even think there's YouTube video of it out yet, but this was with former Hollywood Reporter editor Matthew Baldoni, and he talked for about 25 minutes or so with Justin Baldoni, lawyer Brian. Oh yes, my guest made it. We'll put him on in a minute. What's up? He talked to this Matthew Baldoni guy, Baldoni, right? Actually, that is his name. He talked to Brian Freedman, Justin Baldoni's attorney, and said some things that honestly I thought were pretty outrageous, dude, pretty outrageous. And Brian Freedman put up with him, but damn. So anyway, I've got that here for you as well. But anyway, I want to look at this article and a bit about what this article said. And I'm going to I should bring my guest on because I don't know how much he knows about all this. So clutch your pearls. I don't really know what's the appropriate thing to say here to my guest, but what is up? I've added you to the stage. You are on.
Oh, can you hear me? Hold on. Okay, there we go. Sorry, my settings are messed up for some reason, but yes, I'm here.
You are
and I'll
here.
try to fix that. There we go. Okay. Yes, I can hear you. I was like, why can't I hear her? Oh, because my audio was muted.
Yeah, at first you were coming in a little bit soft, but no, we hear you loud and clear now. And so
Okay.
this might be the first time that you actually come on my show, isn't it?
I think it is actually. Yeah. You've been on my show several times, but I've never graced your show with my presence here. So thank you.
Oh, no problem. Well, I mean, I've certainly invited you before, but it's kind of I
Yeah.
just don't stream as much as you guys do. It's so impressive, some of you guys. You are out there constantly streaming. So it's just only recently I've started streaming a lot.
Impressive or psychotic, one or the other. And yeah, I had a crazy night last night. I still can't
Just
fight you.
for those who don't know, Ethan seems to attract all kinds of controversy and all kinds, and you're constantly getting into feuds and altercations, right? Or they're coming to you. I don't.
Well, a lot of times I'll admit they're my fault, right? Like, I mean, I'll fully admit a
Did you
lot of
admit that?
times they're my fault. Matter of fact, first time we start talking, I started some shit with you. Well, I don't know. It's arguable who started what, but whatever. It started with an argument or whatever. But this time, no, I'm not taking the blame this time. I did leave a negative review and encourage people to spam their reviews, but it got deleted anyway. So that didn't actually help. That doesn't really work very well usually. So, but anyway, I can't figure it out. Maybe it was the Tijuana hat. Regardless, I didn't get any sushi. I just had to have a sandwich. So that's okay.
I've given up a long time ago trying to track the various permutations that your life takes on Twitter. Every now and then I'll just see like something about like you're feuding with somebody or something. I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's still going at it. But I know that you don't know much about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, or have you been? We talked about it a bit. Have you been kind of following it since we talked?
No. I know the beginnings of it and Taylor Swift's involvement and Ryan Reynolds and how she rewrote the script and said she was surrounded by dragons like Khaleesi off of Game of Thrones. So I followed it at the early stages. I haven't been following the legal filings. I've been seeing them pop up mostly on your Twitter and others. So like I'm kind of seeing what's going on, but I'm not
You seem to
as
have the
plugged in.
You've got the general gist of it though. So
Yeah.
so what we're going to look at today is different media representations of what's been going on with, they're calling us mommy sleuths, by the way. Did you know I'm a mommy sleuth?
I didn't know that actually.
So we're
That
looking
kind of
at,
sounds hot though. Yeah. All right.
careful, Ethan, they're going to clip this and then
Oh,
they're going to make this an example of the
Yeah.
internet sleaze. No, seriously, look, this is the title. So
Well, I am an example of internet sleaze. Let's be real. But okay.
Oh man, have you ever had, let me ask you this though, have you ever made the front page breaking news section of the Daily Mail like I did?
No, but I made the Sun one time
Did
for
you?
bullying a female video game developer. I was about to call her a harasser.
Oh,
Developer.
you were part of all of that. I forget about that, right? That was like
I'm on Mount
eons
Gamergate.
ago. It was
Yeah.
eons ago, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it wasn't that long ago.
It was almost 11 years ago. You're correct. I've been in the game for a long time. Yes, I'm on Mountain Gamergate. Yeah, I did make the Sun. I've made the New York Times, Washington Post, Politico.
Well, I mean, now you're running ahead of me then there. So I was feeling all smug about it.
Oh, and the Wall Street Journal front page, which got me kicked off YouTube. So thanks, Wall Street Journal. Appreciate that.
So we're going to look at this, and basically kind of what I'm interested in is a particular way that they misrepresented me, because the writer of this, she did not refer to me, as many of these outlets like to do. She did not refer to me by name, but just referred to my protest with what was going on there. And the whole like tenor of this article is kind of what you would expect here, calling content creators who raise doubts about Me Too and various Me Too allegations, calling us misogynist and that we're far right. Far right. I mean, I've done pro-abortion videos on my channel where I'm just like castigating right-wing traditionalists and stuff like that. So it's just really it's just a misrepresentation. But I'm looking for this part right here anyway. But you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen these articles like where they're just basically saying, oh, it's a bunch of crazy right-wingers?
Yeah, and I guess maybe you have certain right issues. Also, my cat is coming to join me.
Oh, let us see the cat, dude.
Okay, let's see if we can.
I love cats.
You love cats? Well, here's Cleo right here, tortoiseshell. She's 11 years old too, coincidentally enough. She doesn't
really
act
see her though.
11.
She's kind of at the
Okay,
bottom.
let me see if I can pick her up. There's Cleo. Hello. There you go, right there. Maybe you can see her a little bit. I
Yeah,
tweet
you
out pictures
can
of her all the time.
see. Sorry, my mic just,
Look that
or
way,
my
Cleo,
phones
so I
just went
can
out.
see her eyes.
Is she
There you go.
tortoise?
Yeah, she's tortoise show.
Tortoise
Torty.
cat.
Meow. Yes, she loves to talk. They say they're not actually a breed, but they share a lot of similar characteristics. And one of them is
I have 2 tortoise cats. That's very strange. I'll have
really
to show you a picture. Yeah. No, seriously, later on, I
wow.
do. I have 2.
I
Anyways.
have 2 cats, but the other one hates it. They hate each other basically, and he's so big that I have to
Mhm.
keep them separate because he'll, beat the shit out of Cleo. So, but he's a great cat too. But he's not tortoiseshell. I call him Smoke because he's smoke colored. But and
Aw.
also pissed off my ex-wife. She wanted to name him Hades for some reason. I don't know, some devilish shit. I'm not sure what that was all about. Maybe that was a dig on me. I don't know. But yeah, regardless, fill me in on what's going on with these court filings. And I know I've never thought
We're
of you
gonna look
as
at the
far right at
Yeah, so
all.
we're gonna look at this article. I was hoping that I could find it in the article, but there's one part about me, and I'll put it on my Twitter that I want to look at. So here it is. Okay, so this is the claim. Can everybody see that? Yeah. So this is one of the claims in the article that she's making. She says, in actuality, now with these they, she's talking about my audience. She's talking about other bloggers. She calls us mommy sleuths, but that's who she's talking about. She says, in actuality, they say the carpet was not filled with fans, but protesters holding signs outside the theater in support of Baldoni. So, and then she goes on to talk about, I think that's Melanie King here, which was something she was asserting. But now, Ethan, have you ever heard this saying that if you ever wonder how wrong the media are, just think about a time in your life where the media have reported on something that you know something about, or that you're an expert on, or that happened to you, and they get so many things wrong. And then think about that. They do that with every story, basically, right? And that's the thing that I'm finding in this, as I am at times getting little blurbs written about me or in connection with me, is that they're getting these basic things wrong. And so I have not heard one Baldoni supporter or seen one Baldoni supporter or fan or anyone asserting that there was anyone other than one protester there. Yes, it was me. And that's why people were even laughing about it, right? Because I was out there by myself. And so, to me, it's a little thing, but at the same time, it's a big thing, because the point she's trying to make is that these crazy mommy sleuths out there, Justin Baldoni supporters, that they're so crazy that they think that this one single, pitiful protester was like an army of protesters. No one has suggested that. And so that just makes me mad. It's a huge misrepresentation in my mind, connected to me by this author. And it's happened to me before. Rolling Stone, when I was covering the Manson stuff more, I think it was Rolling Stone, or maybe it was NBC, Cat 10 Barge, but they talked about
Oh,
me. Yeah,
I know
exactly.
her.
A lot of us do. Cat 10 Barge and Taylor Lorenz, right? But
Oof.
the Cat 10 Barge, or maybe it was Rolling Stone, can't remember, but they talked about me in this article, and of course they wouldn't name me by name, but they talked about me and described one of my videos and stuff. But there were so many things that they got wrong in this article. They were claiming that in my video, I was going on my Patreon and sharing exclusive content with Manson content and begging people for money and stuff like that. And like these things weren't even, it was so inaccurate. And so I'm just so tired of this. And I know that like other people are too. I guess we just have to accept it. But this lady, I do think it's pitiful reporting. And so I'm going to show you then a video. So the author of this BS piece, this mommy sleuth piece, right? She actually ended up coming out with a video. I don't know if it's Instagram or TikTok or whatever. I'm going to put it up here. And she ended up coming out with this video, and then she pulled it. So I guess she got embarrassed about it, but it's on Zach's page. So I'm just going to bring it up. And
Her face looks pretty embarrassing, actually. But yeah, go ahead.
It's some of that deep-seated misogyny that you're exhibiting.
Yeah, I'm a internet misogynist legend, so I can't help it sometimes. Gamergate days kick out sometimes. Yeah. Go ahead, show it to me. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't even actually watched the whole thing here, so we'll see what she says.
It's currently a mess. I'm getting a lot of comments. There's one misconception that I think is really important to clear up. There is this belief that me, as someone who works for corporate media, has more of an incentive to lie or bend the truth or create drama or share things that are misleading than people who are independent creators or citizen journalists on TikTok or Instagram do. The complete opposite is actually the truth. A lot of these creators will say things like, I'm not beholden to corporate media. I don't get paid for this. I'm only doing this because I believe in the truth. But they are not only getting paid for
I
creating.
just want to stop it right here just for a second and just say people say I'm long-winded. She's taking forever to make a basic point, which is, hello, content creators have their own self-interest as well, and they might have bias too, like you think we have. Look, lady, you can say that in like 8 fucking seconds. You don't have to be, but anyway, I guess it's expected.
She's getting paid by the word, obviously. Yeah, I don't I don't understand. You're right. You could certainly say that. And I mean, first off, the corporate. Anyway, let it finish, and then I'll give my take.
No, I'm gonna.
No, because you talked about writing about, when you see something written about that a lot about. Well, Gamergate's right up at the top of the list that I can think of right off the top of my head, where, they called us flat out terrorist, online terrorist, and just the most insane stuff. They ran stories about. There's this conference called PAX East, and Brianna Wu, nutcase, put this out that there was a sarin gas attack plan on PAX East. There wasn't, by the way, of course. How would you even obtain sarin gas? I mean, I guess there is a way if you know an arms dealer or some shit, right? But
You're
regardless,
hysteria, basically.
yeah. And you read all this stuff, and it's completely nonsense. And the corporate media, they have a job. Usually they're paid for by the studios, that they get a little money on the side. They call it access journalism also, where they take the pro studio line often, not always, but often they take the pro star line because that ensures them access to that star in the future. And that ensures them, a scoop from a studio in the future. Hey, do us this solid here, and we're going to throw you this exclusive here. I mean, that's where their real dealings lie. It's access journalism. And, since we're even there, like,
well, that's the thing, is like that part of the reporting was the part that I was like, okay, she's getting this completely wrong, because it was me and no one has asserted otherwise. I feel like, so I totally agree with what you're saying, by the way, about earlier about corporate media and how that works, and they're entrenched with Hollywood. I just want to say too that I feel like she's basically setting up a straw man here and suggesting that we're acting like content creators or some form of philanthropy. We're just out of the good of our hearts, because we're called to it by the Lord. We're out here defending Justin Baldoni. I don't think anyone is naive enough to believe that. Everything and everyone runs on some kind of self-interest. But here's the difference, is that I feel like content creators, for whatever reason, at this point in history right now, they are able to see through bullshit a lot faster and a lot better than the mainstream media. The mainstream media has become so ossified and so so entrenched in their own biases that they can't look fairly at a case like this, where it's obvious, like with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, what's going on. So, I don't know. Straw man.
I agree 100%. And I don't know. I don't know if it was always this bad, because I wasn't alive in the 70s, etc. But, I read some old news reports, and that's one of my favorite eras. I talk about Hunter S. Thompson all the time and all this stuff. But it just seems like they were able to cut through the BS a lot better back in the days. And now they're almost just like, I would call it like the court stenographer for the king or for the powers that be. Almost,
they're like a propaganda. They're propagandists, and they don't see that they're propagandists. And I'm not familiar with this journalist body of work or whatever. So I'm just looking at this one thing that she's written. So I don't want to say that necessarily, but but look, I just want to say, lady, and then we'll watch some more of it. But lady, I never deny that self-interest is the motivation behind what I'm doing with my work. But what I will say is that I also care about being able to look at myself in the mirror with a clean conscience. And also I want to feel like when I die, that I've done something worthwhile with my life. And so there are a lot of stories that I could have reported on that would have gotten me a lot more clicks and views. But what you're looking for, and tell me if I'm wrong here, Ethan, but when you do report on stories that you actually care about, you're looking for a convergence between something that people find interesting and something that you are interested in, right? It's not rocket science.
Well, absolutely. And I've had to cover stories that I'm not interested in before too. And it's like, you can tell, right? It's hard to fake it, right?
Right.
So I try to, like you said, you want the merge there of something you're interested in and they're interested in, and they can feel it, right? When you really
Right.
care about something versus like,
That's a
I'm
great
forced to
point.
cover this because like everybody's talking about it. I don't really care, but okay, here we go. And that doesn't make for good content.
That's exactly right. And I just want to say too, I'm glad you mentioned that, brought this up. And also I see the super chats. Thank you so much. Get to you in just a minute. But I just want to say that before Justin Baldoni filed his first lawsuit, I did not report on this thing when for months and months, actually, people were DMing me, even like some longtime followers, and they were saying, why don't you look in this Blake Lively thing? Because it's really interesting. And I was seeing the views that it was getting on YouTube, those Blake Lively videos, even then, even when it was just rumors about what had happened on set. And so the reason I didn't report on it up to that point is I just thought that it was basically kind of still celebrity gossip, and it wasn't something that I really wanted to devote my time to. But then as soon as Baldoni, and then when she filed her complaint, at that point I was just like, well, this just looks like a mess, right? But when Baldoni filed his lawsuit and I saw the light, just like with Johnny Depp, and I was like, oh shit, this is actually of social significance here. So anyway, let's continue. I really feel like, tell me if I'm wrong here, but as we watch this, I really feel like her problem is she's jealous, because she really starts talking a lot about how she thinks we're making all this money, which, to be quite frank, we aren't. That's why I'm a waitress, but whatever. But listen to this.
Seeing this content, they get paid. The more dramatic that it is, the more they can keep you guys engaged, the more crazy it is, the more theories they can come up with. They are the ones profiting off of the Blake Lively drama. Look, I love when people read my stories. Obviously, it matters to the bottom line of my employer. But at the end of the day, like, personally, I make what my salary is, whether,
is
10
that,
people read my story or 10 million read my story.
Is that the problem right there? I think, are we hitting on the problem there? She's like, basically, I'm limited to my salary. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, she's limited to her salary, and she's jealous that other people are getting all this attention and nobody pays it. I won't say nobody. I pay attention to the mainstream media, usually to make fun of it. But
Right.
they don't have the sway they once had, and it's because they opened up the floodgates. They opened. There are no gatekeepers really anymore. I mean, there are some, I guess. If you get kicked off YouTube, I won't name any names. But there's some level of gatekeeping there, but it's mostly gone. You can start up a website, you can start up a brand, you can start up a news channel and just go with it. And you said you're not making a killing where you can just quit your job and everything, but you're making a little money right on the side, and I'm sure it's nice, but the sky's the limit. Right? You could eventually
right.
outpace her salary, and it makes her angry. She went to journalism school and all this debt for all this, and then people are just firing up YouTube videos and doing a better job than her, getting more attention than her, and like I couldn't pick her out from Adam's House Cat, right? Like I you know what I mean? Like I know your face, I know plenty of YouTube creators' faces. I don't know this chick, I'll say, from anybody, right? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I think it makes them angry, and if I was them, I'd probably be angry about it too, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah, and I experienced this. I recognize this jealousy, this resentment that you're talking about here, because I experienced it back when I used to be a college English lecturer. I don't like to say professor because I wasn't tenured or anything like that. I was just a lecturer, right? But there used to be this feeling among some of us of like, oh, we're saying all these worthwhile things and so forth, but we're only saying it to an audience of, 10 or 20 uninterested students or what have you, right? Like, and so that's one of the things actually that one of the reasons I'm glad I actually started doing YouTube is because I really feel like I'm making a lot more of an impact even with this in a lot of ways than with that. But I recognize that same kind of resentment here. And she's basically, yeah, she went to school for this, and I'm sure she thinks that she works really hard, right? And instead, most of her stuff doesn't get the attention. And like you said, there's a ceiling on it. Like the highest that she will ever probably in her field be able to go is to be what, like an assistant editor or an editor at a Glamour type magazine, right?
Yeah, I don't see her working for the Times. Let's put it that way. You know, theoretically, I guess that's about as high as you could go, but I don't see her making that level. But
Oh, God.
yeah,
Let's look at the super chat here,
What?
and then
Yeah,
I
go
want to
ahead.
continue with him because then she actually starts to sound worse as the video goes on. Rebel from the waist down. I love the Marilyn Manson reference. Sorry to interrupt, but shout out to all the Manson fans. We fought, we won, we're back. Vindication. The truth fucking matters. I love that. And by the way, can I just say to y'all, I have a surprise, Manson fans. No, he's not. I'm not interviewing Manson or anything like that. But I do have a surprise. Those of you who have been tracking that case, I have a surprise. It's a video interview series. It's not huge, earth shattering, but you will like it. So I've got something coming up for you, and I'm going to continue. I just want to say, I'm going to continue for the rest of my life keeping an eye on the Manson stuff because I've spent so many years doing it, and I really believe in him as an artist and seeing how he's come through all this stuff. So I'm, you know, you look on my Twitter, in the title, I've got Marilyn Manson in there, and that's going to remain in there. So even though I'm really trying as much as I can to get in with the sort of the foundation of Baldoni lively coverage here, because it's going to be a big thing for the next year unless they settle, I am still got my eye on the Manson stuff. But anyway, okay. Thank you so much for that super chat. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Appreciate y'all. Okay, so let's see what else this lady has to say here. And okay.
Story. I personally do not profit off of this Instagram account. I do not profit off of any of my stories per story. But I could go on here and spend my time, you know, coming up with Blake Lively theories or Justin Baldoni theories, or
Then do it.
you know,
That's what I'm saying. Why don't you do that then?
reading. And I would get
yeah, dude, seriously.
Wow, great idea. Somebody might know who the fuck you are then. Wow, okay, great. Like, why aren't you doing that? Even from the other side, maybe you're pro. Obviously, she's pro Lively, but like whatever. Okay, give the other side of the spin. I don't know. It seems obvious. She's laying out the game plan. Also, she needs some of your skincare tips and hair tips as well. I don't know what this. She looks like she's wearing a old style football helmet. You know what I mean? The ones that were padded back in the day.
Well, it isn't. It is. You're right. It probably did not take much styling. I'm looking at. You know what I'm just now noticing here? It says rewarded by on this video. It says rewarded by the algorithm. Who put that up? Or is she trying to make a point? Like this is gonna because it's about Blake Lively. The algorithm's gonna reward it. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna play it.
Rewarded by the algorithm.
Oh, it's just the captions. Oh, that makes sense. I was like,
yeah.
what? All right, here we go.
Is I would be causing controversy. I would be causing drama. I would be causing people to come back to my account because they would be so freaked out or interested or unbelieving of what I was saying. And, you know, when you have a story like this, something doesn't happen every single day. But these creators they're getting huge accounts. They're making a lot of money off of this drama. And they have to keep it going. They have to get people coming back. I would be willing to bet that a lot of these creators who, you know, are yelling at me or who people are saying like they just want to tell the truth, they don't care about money or profit, are making so much more money than me. I think that.
Oh, she's getting a little weird now. This is like getting like starting to feel like Glenn Close or something in Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, this is some not even a Freudian slip, it's a Freudian slide. Like, I mean, she's clearly pissed off that she's not. Maybe give this bitch a raise. Like, I don't know what's wrong with it. What is she getting paid? Maybe it's really low. I don't know, but yeah, that seems to be what the major malfunction is here.
It's so funny because she's so transparent here about her motives on it. And the thing is, and you know, we said earlier, then just if you know, just do it, then make a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I think that what drives some of this jealousy or what have you is that they feel like deep down they couldn't sustain that. Like, do you think this woman, apart from her glamour role, do you think that she would have 100,000 subscribers or whatever? It's hard.
No.
It's hard to imagine, right? I think
No, I don't. I think she would, you know, I don't know what she'd be doing. I'll censor myself here on YouTube, but
you're so polite to censor when you come on.
yeah, I think she might have a totally different life. Yeah.
Really need to
All right, so let's see. I want to see what the end is here. She starts. I mean, she just seemed like she was like flipping out there. Okay.
they just want to tell the truth. They don't care about money or profit. Are making so much more money than me. I think that people really need to analyze what is motivating these people. That's just my take.
Ooh. Oops, sorry.
Just your take. That was terrible. Plus, that moves no, but that's not persuasive. Like, you know, people who are on Team Baldoni are probably going to stay that way anyway. But like, that's not a persuasive video. I hate to sound like Scott Adams, but there's ways to persuade people and there's ways to turn people off. And that just hardens people that this is a paid, you know, corporate media shill. And why would I listen to anything they have to say? She sounds bitter and jealous over the money. There would be a way to do a video like that that might affect it, or you know, some people around the margins, but that wasn't the way to do it. So
it's interesting. I do want to address also, she says that there's this misperception that content creators, and I think she's talking about people who are trying to present kind of more serious at times news, not doing like at times like comedy and stuff, right? But the content creators are more truthful because we really care about the topic as opposed to just doing it for monetary or self-interest reasons. And again, I have not actually heard anyone say that. I think it's a straw man argument. I think everybody understands that self-interest enters in with content creators. But here's the thing, though. Again, it seems like we have a much, much better track record of seeing through bullshit and of being on the right side of these issues. And by the way, we do actually care about the things that we focus on. I do. I would not have stuck with the Marilyn Manson situation because that has not gotten me the kinds of views that like a Johnny Depp situation or even this situation have. I wouldn't have stuck with that for years if I didn't think this was a significant story, crazy story actually, and that this man was a good guy who was victimized by Me Too, weaponization of Me Too, right? So we all have things that we're kind of more interested in for whatever reason. But absolutely, I have talked to almost all of the major commentators, online content creators in the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively saga. Not like the biggest like Candace Owens, but like a lot of people like us, right? And I can just tell you that privately, they actually do care about this story. They actually do think that Blake Lively did something horrible, and they actually do feel like we are a part of a legitimate cause. Is it as significant as, you know, campaigning for world peace or something? No, I guess not. But we're all called to different things, and we all have different interests. And yeah, I'll tell you, I'll let you know a little secret, everyone. Most of the time, it's not the monetary incentives; it's the fact that it's fun. It's fun to get out here, not necessarily to stream all the time, but you know this, Ethan. It's fun to get out here and shake up some shit, right?
that's exactly right. And you know, it is my job. I mean, I'll be honest, but like, it's fun. I feel like I was called to do this. Like I've been doing it for 10 years. You mentioned Candace Owens. She should definitely have you on. I've actually spoken to Candace way back when, and let's see, what year was this? 2016 or 2017. I had one of the first interviews with her, 2 interviews actually. So shout out to Candace. I don't know if she'll have me on now, but yeah, we go way back. They were trying to.
Did you have a good like exchange with her?
Yeah, we had great. Well, they were trying to ruin her at the time because she was starting a site called Social Autopsy. She doesn't talk about it much now, but
I know what you're talking about. I saw her fighting with Blair White on the Rubin show, and I was like, I don't even know what's going on here. It was like a crazy fight.
Yeah. Oh, she roasted her. It was hilarious. They basically tried to ruin her, and some of the anti-Gamergate people were coming out and attacking her, and so with her help, of course, but I had it in my head we could switch the narrative around as these, you know, fat, ugly white women attacking this young black entrepreneurs. And I think that's a word, entrepreneur, whatever. And so I changed the narrative and we did these interviews and she started attacking Zoe Quinn and Randy Harper. And then she kind of went away for a while. I'm not taking credit for her career, but they did try to, you know.
They don't call you a master strategist for nothing.
Yeah, that was one of my master strokes. And then she went away for a long time and came back and kind of was a firebrand. She was a lefty back then, but she was a firebrand on the right. And, you know, she did all the heavy lifting. But yeah, they tried to kill her off early. And I had other ideas. Yeah, I had other ideas.
Yeah, Candace is one who has had several lives, that's for sure. Now I got a super chat here. I want to get to this Brian Freedman interview. 1 second. We do have a super chat, quick rundown on Marilyn Manson's vindication. Yeah, no, like as one of the mods said, not covering that right now, but just the quick rundown is that the LADA has declared that he's cleared and the investigation into him is done. And that he's in that basically I think that subsequent events since the initial allegations, such as we know of Evan Rachel Wood being exposed for the fake FBI letter, even losing primary custody of her kid. There was a whole saga with that. Also Ashley Morgan Smith line, the accuser who flipped and said it was all a hoax. So there have been all these different developments in Manson's favor. And then I guess the other thing I would say is he is actively touring. He is selling out venues in Europe and now in America. He's going to be in Peru in another week or so. Wish I could go to that one and be in the audience for that. I'm sure it'll be amazing, but can't do that. But I think that, I think things are definitely looking up for him. Unfortunately, he's got a couple of pesky lawsuits that he's still dealing with unscrupulous or disturbed women, or a mix of both. And so that's going to have to play itself out. And I actually don't think that he's going to settle those, but I don't have any inside information. It'll be interesting to see what happens. So that saga is not entirely over, but yes, I see that he's been vindicated. And there's a reason. Let me just say, last thing I'll say about Marilyn Manson, then I want to get back to this stuff. There is a reason why the entertainment industry is working with Marilyn Manson, with Brian Warner again, why he has a major record label and contract, and why he's doing major tours with major people at major venues and stuff. It's because privately, everyone understands that this was a massive hoax and it was a worse than Johnny Depp situation, a worse than Baldoni situation, but that's what it was. And there's no way in hell that all these people would be aligning themselves with Manson if they didn't know that. So anyway, thanks for asking. Check out my playlist on that. I've done like 160 videos. You'll see more there. So next thing, Ethan, this really burned me up here. So how do I want to back this up? Okay, so the attorney for Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer, his name is Matthew Freedman. He went on a podcast. He's been doing a lot of PR actually for this case and for his client, which I think is really pioneering and unusual. And I talked about it on my channel. Oops, here's the guy. But he went on a podcast, and it was like a 20-something minute, 30-minute podcast. But I wanted to listen to several points in particular because I was just kind of like, it really burned me up, because you can see that the guy's orientation from the beginning to the end of the interview is really just to be combative, and he's almost trying willfully not to see what Freedman is saying to him. So give me 1 minute. I'm going to bring this up. I'm terrible still with technology. You've been streaming so long that it just comes easy.
Well, I wish I could say that. I have some technical snafus from time to time, but yeah, I mean, they're usually not my fault, but sometimes they are.
I feel like when I go on your channel, though, generally it's not an issue. Okay, so this is the interview. I want to skip, like I said, to several different points here, but let me find. Let's see.
When you hear the word Seattle Supersonics, what comes to mind?
Just ignore the
maybe it's Sean Kemp.
Well, they stole their basketball team. That's what comes to my mind. But
movie person.
Wait, well, one second.
Movie person, and they did a little Q&A with the head of the Motion Picture Association, Charlie Rifkin.
What do you think the 12 to 14?
Okay, so we're going to start here then. So again, this is the Hollywood Reporter editor guy talking to Baldoni's attorney.
Movies Amazon is pledging is unrealistic, and even if they did make it to theaters,
you should have told me
they won't be there for long.
Should have been like, what are you doing here?
It's just
sorry, my bad. I didn't even realize I was looked at the wrong one.
It was talking about Netflix's budget. I was like, how are they going to work that in? But
what happened? I just had the Baldoni one. Hold on, I'm gonna have to look for it. That's so funny. I just had the link here. Let me just go to my Twitter. That's what, case in point, just talking about the tech. I envy people so much, like Candace Owens, where she's, speaking of her, where she's at in life, where she can just, but this is, I don't know what else to call this behavior. And it's not insulting the people who are cognitively deficient because they have an excuse. They're cognitively deficient. What is this editor, this former Hollywood reporter editor, what is his excuse for being retarded? I don't understand. I don't understand. He says, well, that's not false. I know. I have to rewind it one more time and then we'll play through it because what he says after is ridiculous too. But I'm just like, come on, dude.
And not be held is the time that.
But what is false in this story? You say that it all put together paints a misleading or a distorted picture. That's different from false.
I disagree with you. I mean, and I keep going back to the text messages because there were emojis removed from text messages. And if you actually look at this story, and this is in the pleadings, Justin actually never wanted any.
You know what he's talking about, by the way, the emojis, is that there were emojis in the original actual conversation. There were emojis and after some statements that basically invalidated them, that like winking, right?
Yeah.
And so what they're talking about here is that in this New York Times article smearing Baldoni, that they worked with Blake Lively on, it looks like, and her team.
Of course they did. Yeah.
That they took out they knew the emojis were there. They took out the emojis, or they allowed the emojis to be left out. They were like, well, that's just the printout or how it comes out. But anyway, the point is they claimed that they had done all this investigating, and yet they're putting in these messages that are clearly sarcastic, invalidated by emojis as actually saying it. So like if I were to say to you right now, yeah, my mom is an alien, and I'm winking, they took out the wink part and they're just saying, and then my mom's an alien. Give me a break.
Well, yeah, it removes the context of it. And I didn't actually know that they had done that, but I read that whole piece and it was clearly, co-authored by Blake Lively's PR team, for sure. And, if you take out emojis, you take out any words, really just give us the straight. And Baldoni did when he put out his text release, like it's just all the straight dope, right? And New York Times, we talk about access journalism, no better example really than the New York Times. So, and they thought they were going to crush this guy easily. I guess they forgot he had a billionaire buddy who was willing to put some money on the line to fight for his career. So
it's so crazy, Ethan. I mean, it is so crazy. It will continue to through the rest of my life. On my deathbed, I will be still baffled at what Blake Lively has done, and that she didn't anticipate blowback. And the New York Times. Here's the thing that's interesting too. I bet you're not aware of this. So the New York Times was trying to claim legally that they were protected under the Fair Reporting Act for any issues when they're reporting, because they're saying, well, we're just reporting on the complaint that Blake Lively herself filed. Well, except one of their dumbass reporters, was it the reporter or the editor? But anyway, one of the dumbasses of the New York Times, Megan Twoohey, decided that she was going to do a little podcast promo for this big article. And in it, she discloses that a lot of their reporting came from things outside of the CRD complaint. It came from their own original reporting. We had access to all of these text messages and this and this and this. So basically what that does is it invalidates the Fair Reporting Act exemption, because now they have to be responsible for their own reporting. So she, this lady, she's so pompous and so eager to get on a podcast because, probably she's really like upset that there are all these YouTubers out there who get to have their say and make all this money supposedly, right? So she's like, I'll do this little podcast promo. And she gives her shit away just like Ari Emanuel did at that show. It's crazy. I don't know. Sorry, it's a lot of ranting there.
No, it's fine.
No, it's fine.
I like ranting.
So let's see here. I want to continue on with this. There are several other. Well, I'm gonna let the lawyer continue with this point because I think it's
okay.
Type of smear campaign or anything like that, and went and said over on record to try and make sure this isn't us. A story would come out negative about Blake. Justin there's a bunch of text messages that are listed on the website that clearly indicate that he's saying, hey, this isn't us, is it? I don't want anything negative out there about her. I don't want to do anything negative. That's only going to hurt her and hurt the movie. And he has been like that, he's been consistent like that throughout the litigation. He's been it's been very conscious and very important for him to be able to defend himself without casting aspersions or being negative toward her in the way that he can. I mean, he's a very, very unique individual. I think a really, really honorable person. And he's provided really clear instructions that he wants to defend himself because he's innocent.
Okay, I get that. But I'm on the issue of the Times. You're essentially saying, and I believe I'm quoting it, that the Times deliberately, via its headline and other things, tried to mislead the reader. Do you have evidence that they deliberately tried to mislead?
I think that y'all
do that. I just think this dude, again, this is why I use the word retarded. I think this dude is either stupid or he's trying to be. Oh, Neil, I didn't mean to put your comment up there. I don't even know what it's referring to. I can't believe that this guy is this stupid or pretending to be this stupid, because he's basically saying, after he's just told him earlier in the conversation about the emojis that were left off and all of that, and he's like, but you don't have any proof that there was that they were deliberately misleading, do you? Just
well, there's a really high bar for defamation, and so you have to prove actual malice, right? So to me, I mean, that comes really close to proving actual malice to remove the emojis. But he's speaking like a lawyer, like he's on the New York Times legal team, actually, which is crazy. But
that's the thing. It seems so like biased. He seems so aggressive. There's one more part I want to play for you, and then that'll be it, because I'm gonna have to wrap it up. I have to go to work in a little while anyway. Okay. I have to go to a job because I'm just rolling.
No,
I'm
you have
rolling
to work.
In the creator dough, dude.
You're not on salary with Glamour magazine? Oh my God. Well, you'll make it. You'll get there sooner or later. They're gonna fire this bitch. She's not too bright. So that's my cat just knocked over my energy drink. Anyway, whatever.
Some of my viewers who are like, why do you have him on there? It's because no one else can make me laugh like that on a stream, Ethan. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I love that compliment.
All right, last comment. This is the other part in this that just, I mean, there are lots of parts. Actually, if you listen to the whole thing, y'all go and listen to it. It's free. You just have to make an account on Spotify. But this reporter is just a kind of an idiot asshole through the whole thing. But listen to this shady thing, this shady rhetorical strategy he tries to employ here. There's a little bit of build up here, and then you'll hear it.
And, the court of public opinion was against him. There was no side that he had in this. There were no facts that were on his side. Nobody was willing to listen. And so it was really important to come out with real true facts, real true text messages, real true pleadings, real true information, and to give a real perspective of what happened, not just a one-sided viewpoint and a predetermined hit piece that was going to end his career.
I totally get that. And you said it in court in the hearing this past week. You said, my clients have a right to defend themselves. That is in no way abusing the victim. I agree with you that when your client is attacked like that, you do have a right to respond. You have definitely responded. You've definitely been aggressive in responding. I was interested. It is interesting. You said not abusing the victim. Does that?
Oh, shit. Hold on a second.
Mean you agree that Blake is a victim here?
Someone called it at the worst moment.
To respond, right, you have definitely responded. You've definitely been aggressive in responding. I was interested. It is interesting. You said not abusing the victim. Does that mean you agree that Blake is a victim here? Dude,
this is just an asshole move to me. Of course he wasn't saying that.
Well, he represents the other side. Why would he say that in the first place? Like, I mean, what? No, Blake Lively's not a victim. I'll put that out there right now. She's a mega $1 million
actress who lives a life of luxury, and her husband is worth about 500, 800 million, whatever the hell it's worth to. I'm sure they're doing just fine. I don't consider her a victim.
You know what it reminds me of? It's like it's like these dumb semantic games, but it reminds me of like some like asshole loser, in high school who is like pedantic, like pointing things out, but that really like it's stupid. Like when he says to him, well, you said, because what he's referring to is that Brian Freedman in a legal filing, he wanted to assure the judge that their side having access to certain information would not in some way lead to, I can't exactly remember, lead to a quote, blame the victim scenario. Now, it's understood that he's not conceding in that Blake Lively is actually a victim. He's talking about it in a general sense of like, that her attorneys are arguing that she would be as someone in the accuser status, right? That she would be blamed or would get blowback, whatever they were arguing about. This idiot, this loser says, "Oh, you said in your filing that you wouldn't blame the victim. Oh, you said victim, so you think Blake Lively is a victim, don't you?" I mean, it's retarded. It's retarded.
Retarded is the perfect word for that. Yeah. And it's just it's clearly a hostile interview too. Like, I mean,
it is.
He's treating him like a hostile witness, to use the term out of court, right? Like, I mean, of course they're probably going to be more pro Blake Lively just by virtue of being the Hollywood Reporter, but you could still play it a little bit down the middle, right? Like at least try to look somewhat fair, but no, that's not the tack they took.
And you're exactly right about the hostility. We're just going to listen for just a little bit longer at how this part of things sort of resolves, because he continues to kind of punch with him a little bit on this point.
You do have a right to respond. You have definitely responded. You've definitely been aggressive in responding. I was interested. It is interesting. You said not abusing the victim. Does that mean you agree that Blake is a victim here?
I actually think that a lot of people are victims here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Justin is a victim here. I think Melissa Nathan is a victim.
The publicist.
I think Jed Wallace is a victim. I think Jen Abel is a victim. I think Steve Sarowitz is. Jamie Heath is.
Yeah, but you did say Blake is a victim in the court here.
What I said is this is not attacking the victim.
Right. I guess you put scare quotes around that.
Oh my God, you fucking
right. Well,
dumbass.
Victim can be in the eye of the beholder.
That's true. All right. So
oh my God. You know what? I actually don't, as much as I like how Brian Freedman has handled this case and everything, I actually don't love the way he responded, because he should have just been like, "Are you stupid, dude?"
Yeah. And just roasted him. He was still trying to be a little too nice there, I feel like.
Oh my God.
And then the guy even says, I don't know. That is just
all right.
retarded.
I got a super chat here, and then I'm going to close this out. Zeus Sadai, I like the name, being a longtime subscriber, but just saying congratulations on the 100K. It was so awesome.
I meant to say that myself and I forgot. Congrats on the 100K.
No, you're awesome. No, thank you so much, everybody. And the thing is, it's not about the play button or whatever. Which
you want the play button? Don't. Yeah, you want it. Don't lie.
Dude,
you want that play button.
That's what she should have said, that reporter in her whining video. And then they get a play button when they get. Listen, ma'am, I just want to say, Stephanie McNeil, when I get my play button, I'm gonna exhibit it like right here behind me, and you can just every day you can watch my videos in just abject jealousy at all of the great perks of being an independent content creator. Woo!
No play button for you, lady.
Anyway, yeah, you will get it. I hear it takes a long time though. Sometimes to get it. So
that's what I hear. The main thing I love is just the psychological.
You got to put it up in the background though, like everybody else does. The silver button there in the background.
Yeah. Okay.
Lifetime Achievement Award. But yeah, thank you for having me on the show today. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for coming, and everybody. You are on Rumble and also on Twitter and whatever. I'll put your link below. And I think in your situation is one of those things. You and I started off adversarial because we just got off on the wrong foot. Let's put it that way. But you have since then. I know people have shady things in their bios, or they don't, or I never really looked into your situations or whatever. But you have always been really cool to me since we cleared up that initial thing. And so I'm going to continue. Like I continue to have you on and go on your show, because that's my experience, people. All right.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. And it's been a joy to work with you on the show. Work, quote unquote. Have fun with you on the show. And I had fun here today, too. And again, congrats on the 100K and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right.
Bye-bye.
So he's going to go away. And I just want to say one more thing then.